The Sith never planned for Darth Vader to rule the galaxy. He was never meant to be Emperor. Palpatine didn't train an heir. He trained a weapon, a symbol, an enforcer, a living embodiment of fear. But history isn't built on intentions. It's built on moments, on opportunities, on betrayal. In this version of the galaxy, Vader doesn't remain the servant. He becomes the throne. Vader slowly realizes something Palpatine never expected him to understand. The Emperor doesn't want peace. He doesn't want stability. He doesn't even want control. He wants endless conflict, because conflict feeds the dark side. The Empire isn't meant to succeed. It's meant to never end. Endless war, endless fear, endless chaos disguised as order. Vader sees the truth clearly. The Empire is not broken by accident. It is broken by design. And for the first time, he doesn't see himself as damaged. He sees himself as necessary. The betrayal doesn't come from rage. It doesn't come from hatred. It comes from clarity. Vader stops seeing Palpatine as a master and starts seeing him as an obstacle. When the moment comes, there are no speeches, no dramatic monologues, no hesitation, only action. The duel is brutal and short. Palpatine is powerful, but Vader is relentless. The dark side devours the dark side, and when the throne room falls silent, Darth Vader stands alone. The galaxy doesn't celebrate. It doesn't riot. It freezes, because the Emperor is gone, but the Empire remains. Vader doesn't announce himself as ruler immediately. He consolidates power. He removes rivals, dissolves the Inquisitorius, executes disloyal governors, restructures military command. The Empire becomes quiet, efficient, terrifyingly organized. Then the decree is issued. Emperor Vader, not by speech, by enforcement, and the Empire changes. There are no political games, no illusions of democracy, no Senate, no manipulation, no theater, only law, only order, only consequence. Crown drops, piracy collapses, systems fall into compliance not through diplomacy, but inevitability. The Empire becomes stable, not good, not kind, but stable. Fear becomes predictable, and predictable fear is worse than chaos. The Rebel Alliance breaks under this version of the Empire. There is no corruption to exploit, no internal chaos, no weak governors, no divided leadership. Vader doesn't negotiate. He doesn't threaten. He enforces. Rebel cells vanish. Leaders disappear. Supply lines collapse. Not through brutality alone, but precision. This Empire doesn't overreact. It calculates. Vader doesn't rule as a Sith Lord driven by indulgence. He rules as a dark guardian of order. He doesn't enjoy power. He uses it. The dark side becomes structure instead of chaos. Control instead of obsession. Discipline instead of hunger. Even the Force itself changes around him. Heavier, quieter, more rigid. The galaxy feels controlled. But control creates a different weakness. It kills adaptability. Palpatine thrived on chaos. Vader eliminates it. And in doing so, he creates predictability. And predictability creates blind spots. Rebellion doesn't grow loud anymore. It grows quiet, deep, cultural, generational. It doesn't look like soldiers. It looks like teachers, families, thinkers, builders, beliefs. Because you can rule systems, but you cannot rule meaning. Luke and Leia still grow up in this galaxy, but not one ruled by chaos, one ruled by order. They don't hate the Empire. They question it. And rebellion born from understanding is far more dangerous than rebellion born from anger. Vader succeeds where Palpatine failed. He stabilizes the galaxy. He ends chaos. He creates peace through control. But he commits the greatest mistake any ruler can make. He makes the Empire dependable. And when people stop fearing collapse, they start imagining change. Because no matter how strong the Emperor is, no throne survives forever. The galaxy adapts to Emperor Vader faster than anyone expects. Not because it accepts him, because it understands him. The rules are clear. The consequences are absolute. The chaos that once defined the Empire disappears. Trade routes stabilize. Crime syndicates collapse. War zones go silent. Systems fall in a line, not because they believe in the Empire, but because resistance no longer feels possible. Fear becomes routine, and routine becomes reality. People stop talking about rebellion. They start talking about survival. Vader rules from isolation, not celebration. There are no grand parades, no cult of personality, no speeches, no propaganda built around love. Only presence, only certainty, only enforcement. His image alone becomes law. But the Force begins to change. Not violently, subtly. Where chaos once surged, pressure now builds. Where emotion once burned, tension now simmers. The dark side doesn't feel wild anymore. It feels compressed, contained, like something being held down too tightly. The Jedi do not rise openly. They don't form temples. They don't build orders. They survive quietly. Teachers, healers, wanderers, protectors, not warriors, not soldiers, not generals. They don't fight the Empire. They outlast it. And slowly, belief spreads again. Not hope, understanding that the galaxy is stable, but not free. Luke and Leia grow up inside this structure. They are not hidden from a truth. They are raised within it. They see the Empire working. They see the peace. They see the order. They see the safety. And they also see the cost. They see fear in silence, compliance in people's eyes, obedience replacing choice, stability replacing freedom. They don't hate Vader, and that terrifies him, because hatred is simple. Hatred is predictable. Hatred can be crushed. Understanding cannot. They begin to ask questions, not publicly, not loudly, but deeply. Why is peace built on fear? Why is order enforced instead of chosen? Why does safety require obedience? And Vader feels it. Not rebellion, not anger, not threat, something worse. Change. Because this rebellion doesn't look like soldiers. It looks like culture. It looks like education. It looks like belief. It looks like ideas that spread without ships, without weapons, without armies. And for the first time since taking the throne, Emperor Vader faces something he cannot crush with power. Meaning. Because power controls bodies, but meaning controls generations. The Empire remains strong, but its foundation begins to shift. Not through war, not through violence, not through chaos, through identity, through belief, through people imagining something different. And Vader, the ruler of absolute control, realizes something too late. He created a galaxy so stable that people finally had time to think.